Hello and welcome to a special episode of the Trump Report. I'm Louis Sykes. Greenland has been in Donald Trump's crosshairs for the last few weeks now, accusing NATO ally Denmark of not providing enough security for the North Atlantic island.
We need Greenland for national security. I can't rely on Denmark being able to fend themselves off. You know, they were talking about they put an extra dog, and they were serious about this. They put an extra dog sled there.
Well, we've come to Greenland to find out what the capabilities of the Danish military are here. And as you can see, it's significantly more than dog sleds.
Denmark has a squadron of patrol vessels in Greenland, all built with ice-breaking hulls to withstand the harsh waters around the Arctic island. It's a sort of Arctic specialization that only few nations have access to. The US isn't one of them.
It can actually break ice up to 1 meter thick, what we also know about it is, up here, because of the waves and the seas here, it's actually preferable to have this size of vessel compared to the larger. So the Arctic Command here sees this as one of the better vessels. This is from '91, so it's old, but they still appreciate it because operationally it works. If you just head a few hundred kilometers up the coast here, there'll be ice all over, even in summer. So these are the type of ships that are really required and what they want for the Arctic Command up here. Just a little word on the dog sleighs, actually, because Donald Trump has been mocking the dog sleighs a little bit. These guys that belong to the Danish Special Operations Forces, they test all kinds of equipment. And the big thing is that dog sleighs are the way to go. That's the way they can get around the eastern and northern part of Greenland, which is very, very hard to get around. And they even tried ski-doos. They tried all different kinds of modern equipment, but they all break down. They have various accidents, etc. So they foresee that they'll be keeping the dog sleighs because there's no other way to get around the eastern and northern part of Greenland.
This is only the routine force stationed here in Greenland. They, along with teams of Arctic sled troops largely in training, have been joined in recent weeks by Danish and other allies as Europe reacts to US demands over this Arctic island, which represents a significant shift for the future of Greenland.
About 300 kilometers north of here at the big air base or airfield, we have a lot of soldiers coming in. Also a lot of French mountaineers up there at this moment. Also further down south, we see strengthening of the presence. From the Danish command, they're talking about having 1,000 soldiers here, and that's just ground forces. On top of that, you have all the Navy and you have the Air Force that's being rotated up here. And it's all a matter of really securing Greenland and the Arctic, showing increased presence. So there's a lot of activity now. Last time there was a Chinese warship in these waters was more than 10 years ago. And Russian warships don't come here either. Sometimes they have stray fishing boats from Russia. But one place where the Russian fishing boats do go is actually the Faroe Islands. But when we talk to the Arctic Command, they say that they've generally not been a problem. What we do know also is that where do the Russians and the Chinese cooperate? That is north of the Bering Straits, up near the American state of Alaska. So, many people here feel that's probably where the White House should focus their efforts if they really want to square up to Russia and Chinese influence.
It leaves the question of why these troops are here if there are no Chinese or Russian vessels in these waters. Despite the climb down over US military action here in Greenland, there is still a fear of the White House resuming those threats. Much of the equipment deployed here is a legacy of wars and operations carried out alongside US forces.
When I was still at the Danish intelligence service, I remember briefing the chiefs of this kind of ship before they went piracy hunting off Somalia. So it's been all over the place.
This is our bomb suit. The older version were utilized in theaters of war like Afghanistan and Iraq.
Important to note that these ships aren't just here for military defence. There's an important civil role, rescue role as well, isn't there?
Oh yeah, very important component. And that's really what they've been doing, and also fisheries inspections, etc., etc. So that has been the normal routine. Now you can say it's a bit sharper what they need to be prepared for, but it's really going to be everything in the whole toolbox that's in play.
So what you see here is our search and rescue box. So if we find people in the area and we're not in a helicopter and we can't get to them right away, the Challenger plane that we have for search and rescue, they will drop this box. And when you open the box, this is what you find. This is what we call a 2-pack. So that means it suits for 2 people. We didn't bring all the items, but this is a display. So we have the tent over here. We have something to lie on. You can put up the tent with the ice screws. You have some warm clothes, because you of course need, as soon as you've put up your tent, you need to go outside. You need to get some ice so you can boil water. So here you have the boiling system. You have the food right over here, so that when you add the water to this one, you get some kind of a soup that is very nutritious. Over here you have the tools for getting the ice, and over here you have, as soon as the weather clears up and we can actually send a helicopter for you, then you can communicate with the helicopter. So all of this, and of course you have the deck of cards. So when you're sitting in your tent, you have your soup made, you are sitting in your sleeping bags, you are nice and comfortable. You can play some cards, and then hopefully, of course, the helicopter will come and pick you up in maybe 1 day, 2 days, 3 days. You never know.
The message to the people of Greenland is a clear one. Denmark is here to protect you, but from what is more ambiguous.